I don't know, do we want to wait for Fred, or do you want to?
Why don't we give him a couple of minutes?
Yeah, you've still got 5 minutes before
Give
we
him 5 minutes.
start. Okay.
Oh, is that yours? Oh,
This is Fred. So it's got, your names are right here on it. So we've got code of ethics, orientation, charter, and title 20.
I have one underneath, thank you. Oh, I've got one.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
We're gonna wait 5 minutes to see if Fred gets here.
I know I had that.
One for yourself.
You know, from you and Taylor a couple of months ago, but I didn't know.
I got a whole bunch of other ones. I gotta have an assembly.
So yesterday I had the time, so I searched for it. And I
So you're getting more little doodad things, you know what to do.
Yeah. You found it yourself, so I wanted to make sure you had it.
I appreciate your interpretation.
More than here, but don't worry about
Oh, I
it.
didn't know.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted you to know about the
Yeah.
We do.
Small case.
Yeah. I'm happy with that.
Because people, we had no pictures. We took a lot of heat from
Only the best.
I really think so.
the argument was, you don't trust the public?
No. Yes.
My job is to make
Maybe
sure.
we could get some baggies before we go from the ombudsman's office, or,
I don't have Fred's text.
So, Barb, since we have a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
So, I sent you an email. I'm not going to be here tomorrow because I have a work
Right.
training.
Hey, thank
So,
you.
what's the best way for me to get caught up on tomorrow's items?
so,
Should I call up and get somebody to bring down some Cambridge votes bags? Does it, does
oh,
Aaron
sure,
have any in the
great
office?
idea.
They put all
I
the
have
goodies
no
in there?
idea where they are.
Okay, I'll ask Sierra to look.
Ask Jackie to look.
Ask Jackie to look.
Jackie might know where they are, unless Sierra does. Either way is fine.
Okay.
I'm afraid we might have taken them back down.
Okay.
Jackie might run.
Don't want to give out.
Okay, so Felix, right now, all of your work sessions are recorded. And we're gonna talk about it in here. And there's a place on the website where we upload the recordings.
Okay.
We upload them, you know, I would say always within 24 hours. Sometimes it's within 3 or 4, but I don't want to overpromise. It's always as fast as we possibly can.
Perfect.
So we're recording right now and we're not on the record, so we trim that because this conversation doesn't have to be, it's not part of the public record because
Right.
he hasn't called the meeting to order. So we trim this and cut it off.
Okay.
So it just takes us a couple of minutes to get it.
Yeah.
But then it's uploaded to the webpage, and then you can listen to all of them that you want.
Perfect.
And you'll see, we'll go in here and you'll see where they're gonna be uploaded. So tomorrow, now, the other thing is, you can always participate telephonically in any work sessions. It's a little hard to participate telephonically, but it's certainly available.
Okay. Great. And that'll be in here, like the bridge line for all of
Yeah,
them?
right. And so you can just put the bridge line in, you know, save it in your phone, because if we use it for the work sessions, we'll use it for the committee meetings, we use it for the assembly meeting. Whenever you call, that's gonna be
Okay.
the number that you call if we have the bridge set up.
Yep.
We don't always use the bridge, like this morning, somebody called into the Community and Economic Development
yeah,
Committee
yeah, I was
and
there.
just directly called the conference line because there was nobody else participating.
Right. Okay. Good
So-
to know. Thank you.
If you do want to participate on the bridge line, we'll probably tell you this later. Please tell us, because like I said, we don't always set it up.
Got it. All right. 4-1.
Good thing we should close meeting if we're gonna record it.
It's ready.
Call this meeting to order. This is just to welcome our new members. Hello, sir. Okay, good. I've already taken care of most of that already, Frank.
Thank you.
No problem. So thanks for being here. We did this new member orientation. I want to go through just a few things quickly. We're divided into 4 divisions in the Assembly Department. We've got first Assembly Division, 11 members, and aides. Relative to your age, you can hire whoever you want as an aide. We do have a total dollar amount you can pay them a month, but you can break it down any variation you want. I think right now it's running $950 a month, but you could break it down, pay one person $800, another one $150. We don't care. And we don't care what you have them do. We never ask you. You just fill out the paperwork, I'll sign it off. Because it's up to you as assembly members who you have working for you. So if you have any questions at all, I'm more than happy to handle that. But it's just, the only thing they can't do is they can't work on your campaign. So
Say the last sentence again.
they cannot work on your campaign.
One tiny,
go ahead,
tiny
Barbara.
little
There she
clarification on
goes.
that. Since, they can't work on your campaign while they're being paid as an aide.
Yeah.
But the pay is, insignificant. I'm sorry to say that, 950 or between 150 a month to 900
Yeah.
is fairly insignificant.
But
So
at least we have them.
you would assume that if your aide is working on your campaign, they wouldn't be doing it in the hours that they're being paid, the 950 or whatever. some
Whatever you
choose.
do.
Right.
Every assembly member is different. Some assembly members don't want an aide. I've never hired one. So the money just lapses at the end of the year back in the general budget. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think that there are a couple of conferences of cities or counties or something, national conferences.
There's Alaska Municipal League and National League of Cities.
And there's another one, I think, for counties, but.
NACO. National
but-
Organization of
But
Counties.
you can use that to pay for travel
You can do that too.
and stuff.
Good, Barbara?
The amount for each assembly member is $950 a year, and
A month.
$950 a month. That's right. You have a choice of using it for an aid or for travel, but that's the total amount.
That's the total amount you can spend. We keep track on everybody's account, just so we don't run over on it. Yes, Fred?
What's the municipal reimbursement rate for mileage? The feds
I've
used
never
to
done
be
that.
50 cents a mile, but you know what the muni one is?
Well, I know there's a reimbursement rate. I believe that the city uses, I don't know if it's 40 or 53 cents or something like that. But so far, I haven't had any assembly members that
Never
have
asked for
claimed
it, so,
mileage.
yeah.
And although you could certainly be entitled to it, I don't have a line item budget number for it. And
We do have a
would
stipend.
just-
We do have a stipend for cell phones, because we had one we wanted to use. Remember?
The stipend for cell phone would come out of your,
950.
right.
So,
Thank you.
no problem. The chairman just serves as the individual that runs the assembly meetings. I don't debate during the assembly meeting. If I've got something to say on the issue, I'll say it when you guys are done debating. My job is to make sure the meeting runs correctly and not sit there and try and pontificate from on high. It doesn't work too well. And next we've got the municipal clerk's office. Barbara, want to talk about clerk's office?
We're going to talk a lot about the clerk's office, but primarily what the clerk's office does is support the assembly. I think that that's our major function. The code says that we provide logistical and administrative support to the assembly. And we do it in hundreds of ways, and we'll talk about that as soon as Mr. Trainey's done.
And they also run the elections. So we have this wall that's between the assembly and the clerk's office. We don't get involved in elections. In other words, our faces are, we put up on the wall there, those come down during the elections. We don't come and ask them, so how am I doing this election? We have a line between us and the clerks. It's got to be there. The next one is our attorney. Years ago, we fought hard and got our own attorney. For a time period when Fred and I were on here initially, every legal opinion we got had TF on it. And I asked Bill Green, what's TF? And he says, oh, that's Tom Fink. I said, why is he initialing off our legal opinions? He said, because I don't give you a legal opinion until Tom Fink's agreed to it. You've got two branches of government. You've got executive, you've got legislative. You can't have our legal opinions being shaved or cued by who the mayor is. Even if we like the mayor, it doesn't work. So we had a agreement put in place that we have our own attorney. So the attorney right now is Dean Gates. Judy was our attorney. She's leaving us. Dean Gates was hired as our attorney. And we're really lucky to get him. He was the one that wrote most of the legal opinions anyway, and the code. He's great at doing it. In fact, Bill Falsey was saying, please don't take him. We took him. But he works for each one of us, and he will not tell us. For example, if I want to work on a project and I don't want you to know about it, Felix, he won't tell you I'm working on it. And he would, like he would not tell you, he'll let you know if you both agree to it. But he's got confidentiality. He's got a form we came up with that you can write on the form what you want him to work on and the priority so that he can assess his workload coming in. But the best thing we've done in years was hire our own attorney, because we can trust our own attorney. He doesn't represent in court, the city attorney does, but he gives us legal advice. He can write an ordinance for you if that's what you want. So, Barbara, anything?
Did you want to ask if Dean wants to pass out his form or say anything right now?
Dean, do you want to pass out your form now or what?
I appreciate the company's materials. I did come up with a form to help track the requests I get from each of you, an ordinance or a letter or a legal instruction like that. And sure, pass them on now. I guess truly a Tucker's sheet is not office for 11 years. And I'm learning her system, but as I go along, and after her last day on 28, I see things. And as Dick said, I take requests from just assembly members, not members of the public or constituents, so my role's pretty easy. Sometimes I got talk to screen out certain requests as that's not appropriate for me to do, and so forth. But generally, I'm here to work with each of you on legislative goals considered for amending code. We usually come up for this things on the agenda. So, as Dick said, I'm new in this role. I was in the Department of Law for 14 years. This role is a little different, so I'm going to be learning the ropes with the rest of you. I'm going to try to attend orientation meetings with different assembly municipality parties so I can see what they tell the assembly members.
Yes, Fred.
I expect that the work we have for our attorney is a bit seasonal and cyclical. There are times when he gets overwhelmed with work from us. Is that true?
That's true.
And then you're the referee.
I get to play referee.
Okay, and I want that to work. And I want you to tell us, you know.
Fred, don't worry about that. That will happen.
Okay, good. And then I want you to know that if what I ask you to do is stupid, illegal, or unconstitutional, I want you to look me in the eye and say.
I'll be sure to tell you.
But with me, you can be very direct. And I don't want to waste my time or yours on things that are inappropriate and won't work.
Mr. Dustin, you know, in our meetings and stuff, we're formal, but if you meet with me in my office, I'll call you Fred, and sure, I'll be very glad.
Good.
In fact, I gave Julia when I hired her one instruction. If I'm walking into a hole, tell me there's a hole in front of me. It's my choice to walk into the hole. It's not your choice to stop me from walking in.
Yeah.
And I want him to do the same thing. If there's a problem in front of us, you've got a project and he knows it's a hole, tell you about it.
Yeah.
But it's up to you as a legislator if you want to walk in the hole anyway. I guess the biggest thing we could equate that to is RV parking. But that's not the issue coming up. Sorry. The other one is a municipal ombudsman. Works for us too. They're right over here, and I want everybody, when they get a chance, stop in and say hi to the ombudsman staff. What they do is they help constituents with problems against oppressive government, for lack of a better word. They cannot investigate assembly members. They cannot investigate the mayor. Everything else is fair game. The school district and every municipal department, including the police and the fire. And we do not put any restraints on what they investigate. That's not our role. And that would defeat the purpose of what they do. Yes, Fred?
Do they have the power to subpoena?
Yes, they do.
And do they have the power to take sworn testimony?
I think they do. They've not done it. The assembly has the power to subpoena too.
All right, good on you guys.
So, but the ombudsman it's perfect. It's worked so well for us over the years. So please, get and meet the people. I've had some assembly colleagues over the years that have never walked in their door. And it hurts themselves when they don't. Because we're gonna get calls from constituents. There's this dog barking right next door to me. I called ombudsman, I called animal control, they won't take care of it. Can you tell me what to do? That's what they do. So anytime you've got a question or complaint, give Daryl Hess a call. He's really good at it. And conveniently, our last ombudsman for him, was her. She was the ombudsman for a while. So she knows it completely. How many backlog cases did you fill out?
There were a lot, over 1,000, I think.
Yeah, so. But it's a great function for the public to have them there.
And I think I know all of the assembly members take care of issues with their constituents, but on the really tough ones, you just don't, neither you nor your aide has the time to figure those out. And I see Tim nodding because you
And
just.
sometimes there's no solution.
And so, and in those cases too, that it's really nice to be able to refer a constituent to the ombudsman and have the ombudsman take the time to research the code, research what the department has done, and then have someone that's kind of neutral explain it to them.
One time I got a call from the chief of police asked me to had Daryl Hess back off investigation. And I told the chief of police, no. We don't have them back off of anything. So, and they've found a lot of problems. There was one bus, the police department impounded and crushed it. They violated their own rules because they said the rules said you had to have it evaluated for cost to see what the value of it was. And the chief of police at that time just signed off no value. Where we're going to pay a big bill to the owner because it didn't have value. So the ombudsman deals with that. I've got him working on a helicopter case now. I got a complaint for Airport Heights. A helicopter's coming in, hovering there, and no one would help this guy. So Daryl Hess has been working on fighting other areas that have dealt with the FAA rules on helicopters. So he'll work on everything. So let's see what else. I think that's about it, Barbara.
Yeah, that's our introduction to the assembly department.
There is a place for us to park, by the way, at the assembly chambers on the, what was the backside facing the movie theater? There's assembly parking there. It says on Tuesdays from 4 to 11. So.
And you usually have a bag.
Right.
Blue bags.
So your good old blue bags that say assembly members, so.
Now we have 1 or 2 security guards at every assembly meeting and they are armed. Okay? And I was asked one time, why do you have them armed? Don't you trust the public? And the answer is no. Because state of Alaska law allows anybody to carry in to any assembly meeting, any municipal meeting, and we can't ask them, nor can we pat them down, nor can we run them through metal detectors. That's their constitutional right. So we just have to make sure our people are armed. I actually had to get tasered to get our guards armed. Janice Schamberg was on the assembly back with me years ago, and I read an ordinance through to have our guards armed. The one up here is armed too. And she says, I won't do that. There's no reason. She said, but if you get tasered, I'll approve it. So I had them taser me. And she voted, to her word, she voted to let me arm the guards. So, that's my sad story.
So we're going to start, you've got lots and lots of materials in front of you. And the one that we're going to run through right now is the one that says new assembly member orientation. All right? You've got your packet for next week. You've got the ethics code. You've got the charter. You've got Title 21. We've given you a lot of stuff. But what we wanted to talk to you about was some orientation. And so if you go to page 1, it's got a great table of contents. And so I just wanted to point this out for you because I'm not going to read this. We're going to race through this stuff. But I just want you to be able to come back to this. One of the things that I'd really like to do is get up some type of an intraweb set up for the assembly so that you could have this accessible electronically. we'll send the electronic version to you and we'll make it OCR searchable so that you can search it. But I don't have an intraweb yet. And the other thing that would be really cool is if we did have that location for you, we could have Dean's form as well, so that then you wouldn't have to try and remember where you got something. We'd have it available. So if you do have any questions, just come back to this page. We're going to talk about some important contact information, some stuff you need to do. We're going to talk about a few, really briefly, about the boards and commissions there. And then the last bottom part is we need information from you so that we can update our records. That's what we're going to cover at the very end. So I would like to start on about page 5. We're just going to skip around here. So on page 5 at the bottom, it's letting you know that your contact information here is our address, physical address, mailing address, and then there's an email address for the public to be able to contact you. And that stuff is, so if somebody goes on, they want to know, how do I contact assembly members? They go on the website and click on that email address, wwmas@muni.org. That'll go to all the assembly members, okay? And some staff, because if that includes a public comment from a member of the public, we preserve those for 10 years. And that's our retention schedule on those requests. A lot of assembly members, some assembly members respond to every single email. That is up to you and your aide how you wish to respond. The one thing that we do request is do not reply all. We have a rule that we don't reply all. You don't email to the MAS email, because then you're communicating with your fellow assembly members. Right. We're worried that it could be a potential violation of the Open Meetings Act, which we will talk to you more about, all right? And the lawyers will too. On the next page is our email list, email and contact list. And you can see there are a few blanks there. We have your information, and we have a tearaway sheet in the back where we're asking for your contact information. So it'll be really important for you to fill that out before you leave today. It should be in the just a sheet that's loose in the back of your.
Has a highlighted yellow.
Yeah.
It's a loose sheet.
Yeah, just a loose sheet in the back, and we do need you to fill that out before you go today.
And that goes to the whole public. We keep a roster upstairs. A lot of people come in. I need this because I want to know how to get over the assembly members. And I'm sending a copy to the Federation too. So all the community councils will have your information.
And you can tell that we have separate lists. We have one list for us and for you, and then we have a separate list for the public. And as soon as we get that and get it updated, we'll get it to Dick to forward to everyone who wants it. So then I'm moving on to page 7. And on page 7, we've got your compensation, and you're going to meet with employee relations at 2:30. And we're telling you here that your compensation is set at $28,024. That's your compensation, and they'll take care of all that paperwork, and then you get paid every 2 weeks. We are talking a little bit about travel and aids in the next section. We've already talked about aids and a little bit about travel. Whoever is the designee for National League of Cities is entitled to travel to that conference. Designee for AML is entitled to travel to that. Those are budgeted separately from the individual assembly member account. So for example, if you were the designee for AML, your travel would be covered for the conference, and you could still pay your aide $950, okay? If you were not the AML designee and you wanted to go into AML, you'd have to take that out of your individual assembly member account, okay?
Like I've been represented in the National League of Cities because I'm on the board there. So I go back to NLC.
In this note, it's talking about when you travel, and I do have underlined here that alcohol cannot be reimbursed. So I think you probably understand the way the Muni works. If you buy alcohol, put it on your own card. Don't put it in, have a separate bill or something like that, because if you're going to submit your receipts to the Muni, you're going to have a problem if that alcohol is on your receipt that you're requesting reimbursement for.
No marijuana.
Pardon?
No marijuana.
You know, I don't know the answer to that, Tim. I think we should probably ask Assembly Council about that. We should, that might be a good ER question. Okay, on the next page, we want to tell you where we notice public meetings. That's always on the website. Your website is awesome, by the way. And if you want to just go to the website, almost all of this information is out there. We do have a little bit of info about the State Open Meetings Act, which does apply to the Assembly. And I think Pete and Eric know this pretty well, that the Open Meetings Act applies to the Assembly, but it does not apply to the legislature. So you have to follow different rules here than you did there. Okay? In the next comment, it talks about, there's a bold section that says serial meetings may occur informally via email, phone, and must be avoided. So a serial meeting would be, the Open Meetings Act prohibits more than 3 members. So 3 is okay, 4 is not okay. You can't meet with 4 members without contacting me or Lisa or someone else in the clerk's office and getting us to publicly notice the meeting. So, but you can't text, you can't call, you can't email for Assembly members either, because that is a violation of the Open Meetings Act. It's just doing it differently than a physical meeting, all right?
And some of your campaign events, there were 4 people that had to voluntarily, somebody had to report members.
And there are some exceptions for example, you know, at social functions where members of the public are invited, that, and where you're not talking about Assembly business, that is not covered by the Open Meetings Act. So there are some exceptions, and if you have any questions, just let us know. The clerk's office is always going to give you the general rule. Sometimes people will get specific with the clerk's office, like I'm going to have a birthday party, and I'm going to invite 3 Assembly members. No problem. If you're going to invite a 4th, you may want to consider publicly noticing it. But when it gets more complicated like that, I'm going to refer you to Dean. Okay?
Barbara, we should maybe should let them know, just as an FYI, in your email you'll get some invitations to different events around town, and just as an overabundance of precaution, we always notice those meetings, so that if you do show up with, via those invitations, that you would be covered. So,
Covenant House, open house. We just publicly notice that. We call them events, and so are they going to get an invitation to that, or they're just going to see it, right?
they may see it, but it
Yeah.
usually says you're invited to come.
Yes.
Please come, you know, and it'll be specifically sent to IMAS Assembly members. So there
Yeah.
are invited all the Assembly members.
If it's a public event, then that's okay. Right?
Well,
Like the school district invited us to Battle of the Bands or to performance somewhere or something.
well, you know, the Battle of the Bands, I might be a little bit, you know, more on the line where I wouldn't be worried about that. The legislative luncheon, I'm worried about, and I publicly notice it out of an abundance of caution. So the issues are you going to be talking about business that will be before the body? At the legislative luncheon, clearly you will. But at the Battle of the Bands, I'm not positive that 4 of you would show up, and I'm not positive you'd be talking about assembly business. So that we might not notice.
Couldn't hear each other.
Now, there have been some other ones, like your picnic. You had a picnic over on the east side, and you have 2 East Siders, but isn't that the one that's kind of in Shugiak Eagle River too? So we had 4 assembly members going to that picnic over on the east side when they were opening up that area. So we publicly noticed that picnic.
Well, community council meetings, we have some that have 6 members.
We should probably publicly notice
We
those.
should notice those.
So we would prefer to do that than have to have Dean or the municipal attorney defend you in an open meetings act violation. So just let us know. We will always err on the side of caution and publicly notice those.
If a member of the public have questions or challenges, whether or not a meeting has been publicly noticed, should they be directed to you or to the chair or?
To the clerk's office.
clerk's office,
Right,
sorry.
and then
You can
we'll.
call me, but I'm gonna call her.
And we're gonna go to this website that we've got right up here at the top of the page, and that's where the public notices are published. It's a little challenging, there is no doubt, so a lot of times people might not be able to find it. We can find it, so we'll find out. It shows when the publication started, when the publication ended. We've got all the details, so we can help with that.
And is there a legal standard to which you should do public notices, like 48 hours before an event or something like that?
Yes, the standard is a little bit different. I have a feeling that's going to be on the next page. Thank you very much for that lovely lead-in, Felix. As you can see, regular assembly meetings, the agenda has to be published 36 hours, so that is certainly noticed. As you can see, special meetings, 24 hours notice. Work sessions, 24 hours. Committee meetings should be noticed 48 hours, but if it's the regular meeting schedule, we can do 24 hours. So one of the things that some of you might notice when we start talking about committee assignments, public safety meets the same on the, and I don't know what day it is, it's like I'm just gonna make this up, so don't hold me to it. It's the second Wednesday of every month from 12 to 1. I only have to notice that 24 hours in advance. If the meeting changes, I have to notice it 36 hours in advance. So what we've worked with the assembly in the last couple of years, and almost all of the committee meetings are set up that way. And the other thing is you have so many committees. We don't have time to fit in other committees. Our committees almost Wednesdays and Thursdays are almost totally booked for the whole month. And we've got a couple, I think Forrest, you have a Friday one, is that right, your transportation committee?
We have
Sometimes.
a set date for us.
Okay, so there are other committees that kind of slip in and out there, so that's why we try to get the committee meetings to be on the same day of the month and the same time. But that gives you an idea of what type of notice we're required to do.
And consecutive, hopefully, so that when people show up, they can go home as opposed to having to go home and then maybe not come back or something.
Right, that's why the focus is kind of on Wednesdays and Thursdays around the lunch hour, okay? And then Fridays all day, we try to start at 1 and sometimes go to 12, but it's usually gonna be noonish to 3-ish.
We try to link them in together so you don't have any downtime between meetings.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're gonna go on to the next page, page 10. It's got the meetings. Oh,
Could I just mention that things are open meetings act?
please.
That's very important as Barbara mentioned, to make sure we give notice of meetings. But what are the consequences when you don't? This is something we should be aware of. So, I mean, there's 2 things, maybe more, but 2 I want to mention. One is anything that happens at a meeting where something is decided, there's an action taken, or an open meeting act violation, it's wordable, so an action can get done. and looking at sanctions, I believe that with ethics and so forth. But the other is probably a more closer team, and that's if the Open Meetings Act violation occurs and the Open Views Club law, then that could be grounds for a recall. And you've just earned your election seats, right? You've just been elected. You don't want to have grounds for a recall to be held. So that's something to check for. And then I guess the third thing is giving notice of a meeting. It's very easy. It's very quick. You know, the clerk's office will be recorded. And we're online on that. So there's no reason not to do it.
Barbara, since you were dealing with regular meetings, there is a time period for people to come and talk to us about anything they want. It's item 17 on the agenda. And that's where we pick up those people that want to talk to us about strange things sometimes. It's a good advice to you, don't ask them questions or we'll keep them there forever. Fred, do you remember when we used to have a guy from Girdwood come in? Remember a screamer? He'd start really low and then start screaming towards the end. And he gave his Social Security numbers because he was a natural-born citizen of the world and not of the United States. So there are some people that are just like that. So get ready for them. We had one this last Tuesday. He's a regular. So just let you know, we get him.
Okay, so on page 10, you've got your calendar, and this is your calendar for the rest of the year. Can we send them this? So Lisa it'll come in an email to you from Assembly Schedule. And so you'll just get them in Outlook and then just get them to, you can just add them to your Outlook calendar and then you don't have to do it manually. Interestingly, they are not every other week. So the code says that the Assembly meets twice a month. And so we try to do as much as possible, give you a long break over Christmas and the New Year. We try to avoid meetings on a Tuesday after a Monday holiday. And then we try to have a nice break around the 4th of July. So as a result of that, they're not every other week. And so we just wanted to let you know that. If you have any questions about how we figured this out, let us know. We start working on this probably in September, and then you'll approve the calendar for 2018 probably in October or November.
And we can make adjustments to it.
Of course.
If we need to.
Right. Add extra meetings or, yeah, we've done that a lot. So at the bottom of the page it talks about parking. And as Mr. Trainee said, there's blue bags out here for you to park. We'll get your vehicle make and model and your license number if you could put it on one of these pages. And then at the chambers, I believe the street is Barrow Street, where you're between the Lusac.
It's facing the movie theater.
Right. So you turn on Barrow, which is between Natural Pantry and the library. And then, where the book return used to be, you'll pull in there, and then you'll park, and there's a staff entrance back there for the meeting. And it's open, I think you can start parking there around 3, but I think the chamber's open by about 4, so.
And once you get your ID card, all you've got to do is put your ID card up to and it'll open the door.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get in there anytime. It's like City Hall here.
Are we getting those today or?
You might get your photo today. I'm not positive if you'll get your ID today.
Because I saw Chris got his. I was a little
Oh,
bit jealous.
got it. Then you will be lucky and get it today. The next page, 11 through 12, talks about the different assembly documents, and you're going to learn that really quick. We've copied that out of code and added a little different information, but that's pretty routine. On the bottom of 12, though, we're talking about agenda deadlines, and the agenda deadlines are pretty hard for all of us. If you're working with the municipal attorney or assembly council to draft legislation, or sometimes you might be working with the clerk's office, we draft recognition resolutions, and some, Mandy, honest right now, is working with Mr. Weddleton on community and economic development to do some changes to the marijuana licensing. They're working with Dean on that too. Those deadlines are still hard. It's noon on Fridays, all right? We both have emails and your meeting binders, so you've gotten your hard copy of your meeting binder. This is for the meeting on Tuesday. That's pretty routine. The electronic version is published on the website, and we're going to get to the next page, has those locations. The process is most members read their packets between today and Monday, and if they have questions for the administration, they formulate their questions, send them to me, and you can copy Lisa on that as well. And then we forward them to the administration. We send it to Mike Abbott and Suzanne Fleet Green, and usually copy Bill Falsey so that they can get you the quickest answer possible. And we also include all the assembly members. So if Dick has a question about 9B1 and you're reading your packet, you have a question about it too, you don't need to ask it because you saw Dick already asked it. And so that's why it goes back out to all the members. And then the answers from the administration go to everybody too. And that's one of the reasons why they come through the clerk, is so that you don't end up in a serial meeting with the other assembly members. So usually that happens anytime between Thursday. Some members read their packets religiously on Mondays and send out questions on Mondays. You know, I can tell you Patrick Flynn read his on Fridays. He had his questions done on Fridays. Forrest, I think you must be a Sunday reader because your questions usually come in on Sundays.
Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday or Sunday. So however you want to do that, that's the way we have, if you have questions about the packet, they come to the clerk and then they go to everybody. I will tell you, if you have a confidential question, you may ask that too, and it will not go to everybody. You can say, Barbara, I need to know how something works, and then I can tell you what I know, and I can tell you who I would refer you to if you needed more information, and then you can let me know how you'd like to handle that. But I won't forward something that you want to be confidential to everybody. Okay, online, this is really cool. This stuff is all out there. You just, go to, it's called the Municipal Meetings page. It's a little complicated to find the stuff the first time. But once you find this stuff, it's just a dream. You can always look up, AOs, AMs, exhibits, whatever it is that's related to that agenda item. You can find it. I hope that someday we're in the process. We've been looking for a new meeting management system for, I'm afraid it's been probably about 3 of the 5 years that I've been here. But we do need to move to a new meeting manager system. And I anticipate that system will probably have tablets, and then you'll have a tablet that will have those documents on the tablet. If any of you do have an iPad, we can get the iPad set up with iLegislate. That's the Granicus app that would allow you to look at this stuff. So, okay. Felix asked earlier, how does he get up to speed because he has a meeting tomorrow and can't come to the work session? So at the bottom of the page it says online recordings. So all meetings, including this one, are recorded. And it's the same page as the online agenda, it's just under assembly committees. And you'll just go to this and you'll pick the committee that you want. At the top of page 14, you can see it's got assembly meetings, assembly committee meetings, assembly work sessions, and then other meetings. So all of those are going to be right there on that page. And I think we have lots of members. I think Amy DeBosky is probably one of the most prolific users of these recordings. She'll check what someone said, or check what she said, or what she heard, and that's how you do that. We do not keep minutes of work sessions or committee meetings. Okay, just assembly meetings.
I like to keep how long do you keep being recorded?
My understanding is that they're permanent. So as far as I know, are committee meetings permanent?
Not committee member meetings, they're 10 years.
Okay.
But assembly meetings and assembly work sessions are permanent.
Yes.
Is all the municipal code online?
Yes, it is.
And is there, how can you sort on it?
It has a search function, so if you go to the municipal website, www.muni.org, and on the front page of the website, you can get to the Muni Code, and it's Muni Code Corp, and it just comes up, and it's got a little search function. You can put in whatever keyword you want.
Will it sort by year or by ordinance sponsor?
No, it does not do that.
Okay.
You can actually view prior versions of the code, but only going back, I forget how many, 6 or 7 years, or when we started storing in an order, I think it's called. But each code section has a history note. The history note shows an ordinance number. Ordinance numbers use the year and again a number, so you can see when code sections, I mean, what year and so forth. But we're able, for the ordinances that enacted a code section or amended a code section, all of those ordinances themselves are available in the clerk's office. I'm not sure of the process, that's perfect.
I'm not sure either. Can you tell us a little bit more what you might be looking for?
Yeah, the last thing, ordinance change I did, 91, I don't think has been followed, and I want to find out.
Well, that would be something certainly that we could find out. Unfortunately, do you know but it's still in effect, that code section is still in effect?
I don't know.
Okay, got it.
What these guys did to my brilliant work.
So we'll sit down and chat with you about it. We have an index, as Dean, or Dean said he'd be happy to help you, that'd be great. We have an index, and the index has all of the AOs. You just search by keyword. And let's say it's marijuana, so you search the 2016, you get all the marijuana
My
ordinances.
preliminary search by keyword didn't work, and that might have been my problem. It's not something we need to talk about
Okay.
now, but downstream.
Okay,
And by the way, Tim and you, sir, I'm having trouble hearing you. If you could jack the volume up a little, I'd appreciate it.
okay. All right, so.
Please let me know anytime that I'm speaking.
So on the bottom of page 14, it's talking about the duties of assembly member. And one of the duties of an assembly member is to attend meetings and to vote. And we do allow telephonic participation. You can, our preference is, Dick, if we're going to follow the same practice, is that you let Dick and I know at the same time. You can send an email to Dick, he's the chair.
Or send it to Barbara, either one of us.
You know, I'll share it with him, he'll share it with me. We want to make sure that we've got you set up to participate telephonically, and that you've got all the information that you need. There's the little secret number right there, 907-343-6088. I'd go ahead and put that in your phone and save it as a contact. That's the number that you'll use to call into any committee meetings that we have the phone set up for, work sessions or assembly meetings. Just please let us know ahead of time, because sometimes we won't set it up if we don't know you're participating. And sometimes we forget too, right, Forrest? So we're sorry about that. Just text us a reminder and we'll get it set up if we've forgotten. We've got a little bit of information here on executive sessions. We'll talk more about that at the next executive session. Usually there's a motion to go into an executive session. There has to be a foundation laid to go into executive session. During the executive sessions, the attorney speaking explains the penalties if you violate confidentiality in an executive session, and then says that No action was
You
taken.
cannot take notes during executive session either.
Okay? On page 16 and 17, 18, we have some info about parliamentary procedure. And we're gonna have some Robert's Rules of Jeopardy at your retreat in May. So we'll do a little bit of practice on Robert's Rules. And it'll be fun, and it's pretty easy once you get going on it, right? We need a motion to take action, you need a second, you need a majority vote in most circumstances. We've detailed in new Title II when a supermajority is required, and we've got it all written down. Hopefully we haven't missed any. The next section just discusses the sections of the Assembly agenda, which I'm sure most of you are very familiar with. We've got a little bit more on Robert's Rules. We'll come back to that. Now, I am going to page 24. I want to talk to you about, well, let's go to 23 first. And I think everyone knows that some rules of debate, and I think Mr. Trainee is a very experienced chair and calls on people in order. Ms. Gray Jackson was very careful not to let someone speak twice before everyone else in the queue had already spoken. Of course, the rules require members to address other members through the chair. And the purpose of that rule, we like that rule, is so that two members aren't debating each other. The member is through the chair. You know, I'd like to address Mr. Gates's comment, and then it's always through the chair, and it keeps it a little bit more civil. That's the point of Robert's Rules. If you have any questions, we'll keep working on it and try and find the answers for you. On the next page, we've got some disclosure rules. There's a disclosure form that, the disclosure form went away, didn't it? We
Yes.
don't have a disclosure anymore.
No.
So APOC is your disclosure?
Well, let me take that back. There
Right.
is, when you're elected, you have 60 days from election to file your disclosure of present economic interest.
Okay.
And then after that, we used to have an annual disclosure,
Disclosure.
but that's what went away. We no longer
Right.
have to do that annually. Unless something changes. If you acquire something, then you need to do another disclosure upon acquisition.
Yeah, if you are a family member. So we'll, and as Ms. Dembowski is our master of disclosures, and she does her disclosures quite regularly because her husband is a firefighter, and, pardon? Right. And, pardon? And she's the one that has in the past gone through the factors to determine if other members have a conflict. Mr. Trainee has already talked about the duties of the chair, and then page 25 and 26 talk, and 27 talk about committees. And that's it. We've got, on page 28, we've got a picture of the website and all the links. I told you there's tons of information out there. We've included a little bit about removal from office, which Mr. Gates mentioned. And then I told you at the very beginning that there are some committees, boards and commissions. There are probably over 100 boards and commissions in the whole municipality. And 5 of those are in the Assembly Department. And it's the Board of Adjustment, which the Assembly used to be the Board of Adjustment. Now you have a quasi-judicial board that does that. The Board of Ethics, the Board of Equalization, which I think you also used to do that too, didn't you? Right. The Election Commission, and then the Salaries and Emoluments. So those are the 5 boards and commissions that are in the Assembly Department and staffed by the clerk's office.
Let me explain what the Salary and Emoluments Board is. It's a group of individuals that's appointed by the mayor, confirmed by the Assembly, that sets our compensation. But they only meet every so often, and what they do cannot affect you while you're in office. So let's say they meet tomorrow or next week, and they increase the Assembly compensation to $4,000 a month. You can't get it until you run for re-election. So it really doesn't matter if they do it, it's not gonna affect you in this term. So, you could actually have a system in which different people are getting different amount of money. But we don't do it for the money. Theoretically, we do it because we enjoy public service, so.
So we're just about done. We've got some information about, email on this page. You're gonna meet with IT. They've already got your account set up. They're gonna show you how to get into email and things like that. If you have any questions, you can come back to these pages if you wanted to refer to them. And I think now we are back to signing some of your papers, right? We've got your business cards, so we'll order business cards for you. You have option 1 or 2 on our little form. So on page 33, we've got option 1 lists just you. Option 2 lists your legislative aid. That's the only difference between the two options. And then we've got all of the secret hotlines are on the back of it. And if you'd like to start completing some of the paperwork we've got, of course, this one with the little yellow thing at the top, our public and in-house roster information is the most important to us, so that we can get your info here and get it updated on the website. If you've got a photograph, we're gonna ask you to send a little bio and a photograph to us in a JPEG so that we can update the assembly member profiles to have your photo and your bio on there. This paper you're going to be talking to employee relations about. It's your direct deposit for your check. And then this was what Mr. Traney was talking about. Here's a option for a stipend. If you'd like to use your personal cell phone, then you can get a stipend. You have to provide them your contract or something like that, so that, and then you can get a stipend. And I think it might be like $40 or something, 10 or $40, I don't know. So that's the first step. The last thing I just want to mention to you, we've got your code of ethics. We're going to be doing training at the retreat. Terry Kelly is a professor at UAA in Matsu, and he's a philosophy professor, and he's been on the Board of Ethics for a very, very long time, participated in this rewrite, and he's going to be doing training on the new ethics code at your retreat. So I think that'll be really good.
When's the retreat?
Do we have a date?
It's going to be either the 12th or the 19th of May. That's a Friday. But we haven't held that down yet.
Yeah, so we'll, so that's tentatively what our retreat, we've got,
What date did you pick on, I'm sorry?
We haven't gotten one for sure yet, but it's going to be the 12th or the 19th.
And where are we retreating to?
Captain Cook.
Where?
Captain Cook?
Oh, we're gonna stay in town.
Yeah, we've done a retreat before at Girdwood, and we've been, I think we may have used the Denina once, and now we'll use the Captain Cook this time.
And this meeting is just during the day, this doesn't go on 24/7 or anything like that?
Right. We also thought we'd have an Open Meeting Act presentation so that you could get some good information from the lawyers about that. Yes.
Yeah, well, just general, for me, you're going too fast. I'm trying to drink out of a fire hose here, and so it would have been helpful to go slower. Secondly, I caution all of us about using acronyms, and particularly when, you haven't been exposed. It's only happened a couple of times here, but just watch out that you don't assume that we know what the acronyms mean, and so on. And then you made the comment, I'm sure you're all familiar with this, not true. And give us credit for being quite a bit more ignorant than you think. And then tell me if it's changed, Dick, but my memory is the consent agenda has a whole pile of things that are purport to be routine.
Yes.
And just to encourage you new guys, if you got any questions about it, you gotta get them answered, pull it off the consent agenda, and it could be a further discussion on it. And there's a couple of times, when I was doing this before, there's a couple of things that just didn't look right. I couldn't quantify it, but I pulled it off and said, let's postpone this a week. One of them was a $15 million fraud, and the purchasing agent was getting $150K kickback, but I couldn't tell you what it was. But if you're uneasy or anything about it, have confidence in those feelings and take some time to look at it. Once in a while, there'd be something that's so important that just got to get done tonight because the world and Western civilization will crumble tomorrow. And people will tell you, we can't do this. But anyways, am I right, Dick?
You're right.
And
Every now and then, they put the bum's rush on you and say, it's gotta get done right now. In reality, very little has to get done right now.
Yeah. And the other thing, and I hope this has changed, you got to watch out for lay people like us. We don't know very much. So I've seen us sit past, millions of dollars in the consent agenda and spend 3 hours arguing over a copy machine. That's $1,500 because all of us have run a copy machine. And you've never seen that either, right?
I'm chagrined because I know exactly what you're saying. I will say, I'm sorry it went so fast. To some degree, it's true. I did assume that you knew a lot. And I'm going to end right where I started, is right here at the table of contents.
Yep.
And we'll email this to you so that it's searchable, and then you can search it. And I think the most important thing is, I'll just tell you all, and I think these people know it, and I'm so thankful that the 4 of you are here, because I think it's really helpful for new members to have continuing members, but I love what I do. And I think Lisa feels the same. I know most of us do. We're always here to help. And you can just call anytime, and we will tell you what we know, and I will cheerfully tell you what I don't know. But most of the time, I can tell you who might know. So we're happy to do that.
Yeah, and please don't take my comments as antagonistic.
I don't. I don't at all. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate whatever you can offer us. The one thing that I do want you to know, that even if it was, I agree, the fire hose. Now that Tim and Pete and Dick and Forrest have heard it, they are available to answer your questions as well. So I think if you have any questions, they can help.
I'm going to tell Felix anything.
So we have an appointment at Employee Relations in a couple of minutes. We're going to take you upstairs. They're going to make you official employees and get you your ID, which Felix is coveting right now.
Where's that?
It's upstairs. It is 610.
Sorry?
610, 6th floor, 10th room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Is there anything anybody else wanted to add before we wrap up?
I'll read it.
You do not need to be made an employee. You get to continue. That would be great. I would really appreciate it, and thank you.
So we still want us to fill that out?
And
It's all the same.
okay. And aid information. No aid.
I
No,
need help, but I don't.
Yeah.
Oh,
you don't have one currently employed, Tim?
Yes.
okay. So let us know if you.
You can pay for that, so actually, I don't know that.
I'm probably
You are?
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll.
Do you,
because I think
do you
we're
want,
back.
oh, okay, so if you fill that stipend sheet out, we
We're,
just need
we're
a copy
coming
of
back
it.
here after, right?
Are they coming back here?
You can come back here if you'd like, so you can just leave your stuff here. Did Employee Relations tell you what info you needed?
Yes.
Okay.
See
specifically change one address of those things that goes over.
It's more trouble.
That'd be fun.
That would.
Barbara?
Yeah.
There's a couple of,
So when?
Oh, great.
I think this one, this one is probably better than this one. But I see search out there, so.
Okay, that gets me started. Thank you, Dick.
Well, you just want to make sure that's changed.
If nothing changed, do we have to fill this one out?
You don't.
I am about to give the Parks Foundation Board. Does that mean to do disclosure?
I already have to deal with.
They get money from us, don't they?
Very true.
I think it does.
Yeah, so Ernie Hall was just like, they usually have a separate person on the board that had been Ernie Hall, but
And so, yeah, I think you just need to disclose it.
I'm
And
not
then-
officially appointed yet. but I
Okay,
will.
cool.
What are you getting from here?
Parks Foundation Board. More work.
Let's see.
You just.
What are you doing? Did you see the whole racket?
Well, it
Forrest.
doesn't hurt us to do it.
What time are we meeting tomorrow?
No.
Too many F's. How we can go through that, list again?
You want to do it now?
We can do it now, we can do it tomorrow morning.
I prefer, yeah, let me go, let's see what time I need to go. Well, kind of want to do that, I want to do that going through.
How many do you think?
It's at 4. We can do this quickly, I need something easy too, I think we can make this work. So why don't we knock that out right now? Did you get that done?
No, I didn't work.
So why don't we get that, I'm gonna go talk to Amy and then I'll be back in Hoffman. I'll be in the office.
Yeah, so maybe I'll.
Okay.
Well, and thank you for your
Check it out.
Lisa? Oh, if you give me a big sheet, it's got the committees on there. Because I want to read all these, but I want to read them so we can write their names in there and scratch and then
Hey, Lisa? I just need a sheet of all the committees. I don't care about who's on it, but
If you guys want to look at it.
I just want large sheets. She was nice of you to saw it yesterday, but believe me, you would not want to see
I'll teach
it.
you right now. So,
Okay, I'm gonna go over and print that.
so I'm not going to do it.
No, I'm not even.
So, try to, and I think it's better.
You know, that one guy, he sent me this email about how poorly run
We fight every single day, getting our own attorneys.
Most of the stuff, a lot of stuff.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, actually, it was.
And then also,
there are
as you're going through, keep it on the
Negotiating with this,
outside. You know what I mean?
like, we don't see it.
Don't see it.
That's a
Me
really
too.
good
That was a huge
tip. It's like, think of this on.
That's right, during Tom Fixers, it was so bad, that you overrode him on everything he vetoed.
That helps you.
All you need is 8 votes.
I saw.
And then put it back in.
In 2014, I went to the INRA conference, International Scholars. Yeah, they had one 1 hour segment where it talked about some cities or municipalities have Department of Law serves all branches, and some have Assembly Council, like members. They talked about that division, the Hoosier climbing.
Well, and that's the thing, theoretically, the municipal attorney works for both branches of government. But if he takes his direction from the mayor, how could he then give you an opinion against the mayor? Because he could lose his job. So I told Bill Green, our attorney at that time, that if he wasn't gonna let me take the money out of the department for our own attorney, I would simply have a vote no confidence on him. So he gave up the money. And that's the reason we got you.
And I'm very thankful for it. There's been history then. It will. Thanks, Dick. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow. And thank you, ma'am.